Hello, good evening, everyone. Here we are again for another Unplugged live session. Like always, Monday, 9:30 p.m. Lisbon time. Welcome to Portugal Unplugged. I'm Nel Rodrigues from Desirable Portugal Tours. And I'm just waiting for my colleagues to join, Sergio Costa and Gabriel Lima. They should be here at any minute.
Good evening.
Hello, how are you?
Everything's fine. Back home after a week of holidays, so that's why
Oh,
I've been absent a little bit,
great.
just taking a deep breath before the peak season kicks in.
Yeah. Well,
What about you,
well,
Lionel?
I've been quite busy around. In fact, today I had one of those very gratifying tours. One of those days that you really feel you make the difference on someone's lives. So today was really one of those special days. And well, busy week. It's been very busy weeks. The last one. This one, it's gonna go same way. But well, it's peak season, so it's kicking in, and here we are. So for another unplugged live session,
Yep.
and we are pretty much well doing our best in here to keep on with this intense rhythm. So let me try to
Yep.
get Gabriel over
Yep.
here for some reason. Well, it's always him, so
Yeah,
it's always when we try
it's
to
always him.
have. But I think we have Gabriel. Oops.
Here he
Hello,
is.
guys.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, how are you?
All good. Just finishing
So,
here my setup.
the three of us together again.
Yep.
So, how have you been, Gabriel?
Uh, quite good. A lovely day here in the Algarve. Just finished
Yeah,
another tour. I had my dinner. I'm ready to go to bed, but we still have time for our talk.
well, well,
Yep.
once again, so we're back, and we are gonna keep delving on the subject from last week. So me and Gabriel, last week we were talking a little bit about the regenerative tourism and preservation tourism. A little bit about some things that can be done to help the environment, to help the locations, to help the communities we visit. And Sergio, you have an interesting background yourself, well, personally and professionally, and you are in one of
Hmm.
the areas that is being seeing also big growth of tourism in some, at least in two places specifically that are feeling a lot of pressure on this peak season. We discussed a few things last week, but I would love to hear from your side some insights, some ideas about that.
Sure. So good evening, everyone. Well, for starters, for those who don't know, I actually graduated in biology. I actually have a master's and a PhD in genetics. So biology is something that is very close to my heart. And I decided to take on biology because I am very fond of nature. I'm very passionate about nature. Although, just please don't go asking me which species of plant or which species of bird is that. I'm not that kind of biologist. I'm more into the molecular biology and conservation biology using molecular methods. So think DNA and whatnot. But because I've always had this big passion about sustainability and living things and nature, that's actually one of the reasons why, even though I'm running a small tour business in the north of the country, particularly to the Douro Valley area, I still feel like I'm somewhat connected to the biology, and I'm still doing a little bit of biology to this day. Because if you think of it, making wine is nothing more than a biological process because of all the fermentation that is involved, corrections to the wine making, but this is for something that is going to be definitely quite a bit more advanced. And it's probably what I call a tier 2 experience, not exactly an introductory experience or an introduction to the Douro Valley, because not everyone would like to hear things like the Krebs cycle and how the sugars are fermented, etc., etc. So a little bit too much information right off the bat. But yeah, I started my tour business back in 2018. That's when I started offering the tours, but the project usually goes back, usually it actually goes back to 2016. That's when I had the idea. That's when I started developing the business plan and whatnot. And having this biology component in me means that I was always very passionate about sustainability, and that's why I took on the challenge of running a tour business, especially doing these long distances, because going from Porto to the Douro Valley on a daily basis, this is a 300 kilometer trip on a single day. And so I was looking at taking on the challenge of trying to do it as sustainably as possible. And obviously that reflected right off from the get-go with my transportation of choice, because I was the one pioneering the use of an electric vehicle to do Douro Valley tours. And all of
I
this was
remember
to,
those days, Sergio. I
yeah,
remember those days.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
everyone was looking at me thinking this guy must be crazy. He's gonna run out of battery. There's no pull-up place to recharge and whatnot. And this is actually something that goes into our role of tour operators and as promoters of the locations that we are visiting and that we want to share with people, because it's not just if you just go there as a tour operator, and feel like I have this responsibility. If you go to a certain location just looking at extracting as much profit as you can from it, I'm sorry to say, but you're only contributing to the degradation of that location. And soon enough, you won't have a location to show anymore, because the thing that made it very special in the beginning will be lost. We're seeing this kind of trend happening right now with places that started off by being called hidden gems and who are completely overrun with tourists nowadays. I know that you guys have examples right in your area. For example,
Yeah. Yeah.
Lionel, I'm thinking about Sintra right about now, the Pena Palace.
I I made a very interesting post, last week, picking up a social media
Yep,
post of Parques de Sintra, so
yep,
the company that manages the monuments over there, appealing like in a call for help for people not to carve on the agave plants.
yep,
So they are killing the plants by writing those so-called love messages on the plant. So as you, for you, as with your background as a biologist, okay, you can
yep.
imagine how much that is harming the ecosystem and the environment over there. But
Yeah,
please
of
go on.
course. Yeah, and speaking of Gabriel, another location that immediately comes to mind that I feel is a little bit overhyped right now. We're suffering a little bit from the tourism massification is definitely going to be Lagos. Everyone talks about
Yeah.
Lagos, and
Yeah.
the Algarve has so much more to
Yeah.
explore, and
It's not popular for many peoples, but I've been seeing this every day. Today I went there and I shared with my guests from New York,
yeah,
from Long Island, and I said, and they noticed what I was talking about, you know. And today it was not even busy. So yes, beautiful spot. Yes, have lots of friends everywhere. Yes, it's hard to talk about some topics, but I see the big picture and I can see what is coming. So I
hmm
can't stop myself also sharing my thoughts as a local. Of
yeah,
course,
of
we're not going
course.
to tell people don't come here, but we need to provide people with alternatives,
hmm
other spots who are actually equally beautiful.
Yeah,
I think we have this
yeah.
responsibility too. So, sorry,
Well,
go ahead, Sergio.
I'll just share a little bit of my insight. As you know, I was very close to you. Unfortunately, we were not able to meet last week,
Yeah,
but
very
I
busy
was in
last week.
yeah, but this was for personal reasons, obviously. But there's people who don't know, and there's a lot of I'm sorry, I'm gonna say this. I don't know. I'm not gonna say this because I don't want to get bleeped out or the video canceled on YouTube later, but there is a
Okay.
lot of people just stuff posting online about the place where you live, which is Albufeira.
Oh
And
yeah,
I stayed in Albufeira last week, although not central Albufeira. Albufeira is
yeah,
very big, and you know it better than I do because
yeah.
you live there. And
Yeah.
I stayed in the Salgados area. Wonderful place.
Amazing.
Absolutely
Yeah.
loved it. And just for relaxation, that was the place to be. You had
Yeah.
fantastic accommodations over there, swimming pools, restaurants, hotels, the beach within walking distance. If it wasn't for the personal reasons that prevented us
Yeah.
from meeting last week, I would have just parked the car. And I would only pick up the car on the day to get back
Yeah.
to Porto.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a fantastic location. So yeah, there's this all of this thing, these places that we feel like there's a big touristic influx, and this goes way back to what we've been telling here at Unplugged since the beginning. For every popular location that you see recommended online and whatnot, there's probably one or two dozen that don't make the list that are equally or even more
Yeah.
impressive than the popular location
Mhm.
that is constantly overhyped. So, for
True.
example, I'm talking about my own experience, particularly at the Douro Valley. I see everyone talking about the same locations over and over again. Sure, but these locations, they are a little bit aware, at least some of them, they are a little bit aware of what's happening right now. And they limit themselves on the number of guests that they want to receive, the type of customers that they cater to, also the type of tour companies that they partner with. And all of that helps preserve their authenticity and that mystique that surrounds them. I'm going to be honest with you. One of these locations is precisely Quinta de Ventuziolo, the place where I go for lunch. And they usually like to, they have this vibe of being a very big estate, but they also at the same time feel very small, very cozy, and very familiar. And that is because they limit themselves on the number of peoples that they host, on the number of peoples that they receive, particularly for lunch. I'll give you an example. Just yesterday, I actually had a friend who was driving around the Douro Valley, and he sent me a picture saying of the entrance of Quinta de Ventuziolo, and he asked me, "Is it worth going over here for lunch?" And I told him that's the place where I take all my customers for lunch, so it's definitely worth because otherwise I wouldn't be going there. But then he rang the bell to open the barrier, and they said, "Sorry, we're already full. We're not going to take anyone else in." So this is the type of place that. Um, they are focusing on the quality of the experience for the people who are there. They don't want to have more and more and more persons just over there and making the quality of the experience struggle. This is beneficial for both the customers as well as for the locations, because if we extrapolate from one single location and we do this to the entire valley, let's say that the valley has a touristic capacity of hosting something like 30,000 persons a day. And then all of a sudden, because the place is becoming so overhyped that we are starting to receive over there 50,000 persons a day, well, the quality is definitely going to struggle quite a bit. And so this is one of the issues that we have to do it responsibly, because putting a lot of touristic pressure on one location, it's bad for the location itself because it's going to tarnish the reputation and it's going to have impact quite a bit further down the line, particularly in terms of environment, ecosystem, economy, etc. You might be thinking, well, it's good to have more tourists going over there because more people means more money arriving. That is not necessarily a good thing, because if there's more money arriving, what you're going to see is that there's going to be a huge increase in and this has been studied and this has happened in some other locations throughout the world. You're going to see a lot of investment being attracted to the region, and now all of a sudden when uh, the tourism starts to dwindle down because the place lost its popularity, lost its fame, lost the appeal that made it interesting from the get-go. You're going to see those places crashing both economically and socially. And if there's no more people, if there's no more money arriving to the region, you're also going to see the place sort of returning to its roots, which can be a good thing, can be a bad thing. For example, a forested area, you can see a lack of investment in managing that forest, and you can see that forest deteriorating rather quickly. So there's a lot of things, a lot of nuances why more tourism doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be good for a region or good for the customer. So I'm sorry, guys. You guys talked quite a bit about this last week,
You
so
you
Go,
are
but
go ahead, man.
feel free to
you,
interrupt me because I have a few things that unfortunately I wasn't able to share last week, but I feel like they're important. And so this comes to also all to our responsibility as tour guides in the regions that we are operating in. Lionel knows it very well. One of the things that I invested my time in was just not just preparing for the experience. This is something that we all do as tour guides. We go do our scouting. We go to the locations. We see what they are offering. We see how good is the menu. We see how we taste how good are the wines. We see if the visits and the tours that they offer are worthwhile or not. And so we have this scouting portion of the aspect. But then I always wanted to give something to the region. I always wanted to help promote the region in a way that was not very apparent from the get-go. And so, besides doing this scouting, one of the things that I did was talk with vineyard owners, hotel directors, and it was something as simple as try to convince them to have a place where EV drivers could charge their electric vehicles. Something as simple as that. You don't need to install a charging station, but if you have a place near an outlet where people can charge their cars while they're doing the tour and the tasting, everyone wins. It's a win for the winery, for the restaurant, because they get more customers. They cater to a new customer segment, which are the EV owners and the EV drivers. They get a little bit more business. The EV driver gets a free charge, and the environment ultimately wins because we're taking one combustion engine vehicle out of the roads and we are replacing that with an EV, which has zero emissions. So I feel in using this modeling, this approach, a lot of people. It was nice to see that some of the estates over there at the valley they decided to install the charging stations themselves. And Lionel knows the first one where
Oh
I
yeah.
debuted this project over there, and it's good to see that it's a good safety net for the EV drivers to have, and those charging stations are now being used a lot. And this goes and creates a sort of a snowball effect when the neighbor of that vineyard saw that those guys were having the EV charging station. So they started wondering, well, these guys are doing this, so maybe I should start thinking about doing it myself because these guys are being smart about it. The investment is, well, it's almost like peanuts for the dimension of the estates at the valley. But the amount of customers that they cater to that can bring them a lot more business, I would say that installing the charging station and offering a charge to the EV driver, it pays for that investment in a couple of months. So it's math that is really easy to do. So this is giving something to the region, and it takes a little bit from us. It takes a little bit of our effort because we want to give something to the region. We want to make the difference in a region or even in just small people's lives. Like, for
Yeah.
example, Lionel, Gabriel, I know that you have your partners with. I know that Lionel has the artisan, the pottery maker. I know that Gabriel, we shared a wonderful tour with you 2 years ago where you took us to some fantastic restaurants as well, fantastic locations, and to the market even. And
Yeah.
it was amazing to see these connections that you establish and that we all do ultimately, that we all
Yeah.
establish with the locations and the people that we visit, and how just they feel happy, they feel very, they enjoy our company, they enjoy our presence. It's not like we're going over there and they are like frowning their eyebrows, they're just frowning and they're like, oh, there comes another tour guide again. No,
No, no.
we are not.
They like us. They like us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they understand that we are not like the run-of-the-mill tour companies that are over there, like the companies that you see on big online booking platforms like TripAdvisor, Get Your Guide, and whatnot. No, we are locals and we try to help our communities as well. And one of the things that I did once I had the opportunity that made me proud, as some people might already know, I also come from a Douro Valley family. So we have a family house at a village at the Douro Valley that used to belong to my great grandfather. So it's been in the family for over 100 years. And it's a village that has under 400 inhabitants nowadays. But when I first had the opportunity and when I had the financial opportunity to do it, I offered a charging station to the village. It was the first village of the Douro Valley with under 500 inhabitants to have an EV charging station. And people can go there, they can charge their cars completely for free. And so the local government that they sponsored the installation and they covered the electricity costs, and it's good for people who are in a pinch to just get an extra boost to get to their next charger. And we can also develop other projects to try to revitalize these locations. I have my own project ongoing right now where I want to bring people to get to know the village and to enjoy what's happening over there. By the way, they actually, I'm looking at the calendar, it was last week. Unfortunately, I was, well, fortunately slash unfortunately, over the course of the weekend, they actually inaugurated a viewpoint over there at the village where we have the family house. So I'm really looking forward to go there and taking a few pictures because from what I've seen, it's actually looking very promising in a place that it's going to be another plus to bring people over there to the village. So yeah, there's this dynamic of being uh, socially responsible. I like to use this expression. It's being socially responsible regarding the locations, and also environmentally responsible regarding the locations, and also the locals, the people who made the places special. So it's not just about going to a place, it's also respecting the environment, it's also respecting the people who live there and who made the region, who made the craft, who made the meal something worthwhile and worthwhile sharing and worthwhile taking people over there. It's not like, for example, in downtown Porto, where unfortunately a couple of months ago, there was a very beautiful pastry shop just in front of the Bulhão market, Pérola do Bulhão, where due to the touristic pressure that they started to feel like you might be thinking, well, but if those guys were having a lot of customers in their pastry shop, didn't that help them? They were actually victims of all of the touristic ambiance that is now happening in Porto because the landlord who owns the building kept on increasing the rent. And even though the guys from the pastry shop, they've been over there for something like 70 or 80 years, they were not able to meet the rent demands. And so they had to close down the place. And now that turned into another trinket and a souvenir shop. And we lost one of the most beautiful pastry shops in Porto. And you might think, but didn't tourism save them? No, tourism actually did the opposite for them. So we have this responsibility to help the locations, to help the local businesses, because ultimately people will see Portugal a little bit through our eyes, through our vision, and through our interpretation as well. And so that's why we can choose to show them good things. And most people, 99% of people, they only want to see the good things. Understandable, but we as tour guides, we can put the spin that we'd like on the visit, and we can tell about the good things, but we can also tell about the bad things.
Yeah.
But if people are aware that, okay, these things are happening, and I think that Lionel, you have been doing a great job with this by putting your foot on the ground and refusing people to take people to Sintra because to Sintra, to the Pena Palace specifically, because you're considering that you're only making an issue worse. I think that sometimes we need people like that, people like us who are a little bit more vocal about these issues and who say, when we have these requests of we want to go there, we want to go specifically there, and we say, I don't think this is going to be the best experience for you, and because I don't think this is going to be the good experience both for you and it's not going to be respectful to the location, it's something that I don't do. I'm sorry. And this is a stance that I feel like when people realize and when people say that if there's 10 guides and 9 of them are saying, let's go to Sintra, let's go to the Pena Palace, there's no problem. And then there's one guy who says, I don't think this is the right approach to do Sintra. Just listen a little bit of what that person has to say, because it might be a little bit interesting. When I say I don't go to some of the popular estates of the Douro Valley, um, fortunately for me, people trust my judgment, and I never had a specific request to go to those very popular places. But I always try to work around some of the busiest schedules, for example, because as you mentioned, there's some estates at the valley where people only go because that's where the tour buses can go up to. There's one that is very popular for that. There's another one
But
that is also very popular. And when I talked with people about the quality of the wines of that estate, I usually try to tell them, look, there's a little bit better at the Douro Valley. So if you trust me, I'd be happy to take you there. But if you want to go to that place, to that very specific place that you heard about, I can also take you there. But I decline any responsibility on the quality of the experience that you're going to have over there. And it
you know what
happened.
you know what I used to say when the guests. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yep,
When guests asked me about Douro Valley, and you know, I last year I was in the Douro
yep,
Valley very often. This year I stopped promoting it. I used to say, well, I chose this winery here specifically because the buses can come over here. Okay,
yeah,
the buses can't come up here because it's a very narrow road, and you know which one I'm mentioning. It
yep.
has an amazing view from the top, but the buses can't go up. Even the vans are. It's a little bit of a tight turn to get there. So I specifically chose. The experience overall was great, but I chose that place because the buses couldn't go there. So I used to tell that. But please go ahead.
Yeah. So these are just some of the examples. So it's being socially responsible. It's being environmentally conscious about the choices that we make. And you might be thinking that, well, but this is going to add to the cost. Yeah, sure. It's going to be a little bit more expensive. We're not guides who sell a whole lot. Uh, we are definitely not promoting the most affordable experiences out there. But keep in mind that price is one thing, value is another completely different
Mhm.
thing. And sometimes what you get is quite a bit more invaluable, and you can put a price tag on it from what you take with a small tour, small group tour, something a little bit more private. And when you defer to the better judgment of the guide who has been doing this for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12 years. Um, that is to say that we are also human, we are prone to failure, but at the same time, we are also locals, and we have some accumulated experience that we believe that we understand what people who reached out to us are looking for. So this is pretty much it. What I had to say. It's basically just these concepts that I wanted to introduce, being socially responsible, and by promoting the local businesses instead of going to the mass tourism ones, being economically, sorry, not economically, being environmentally responsible as well by choosing eco-friendly alternatives. We are now starting to see more and more people using EVs. Only this year or last year did I start seeing people driving EVs quite a bit more regularly. And even tour companies, they only started adopting EVs to take their customers to the Douro Valley. I only started seeing that happening last year. So I can say that I had a 6-year head start on those
Mhm.
guys. And we do a little bit of scouting as well. If you're wondering what we do during the off-peak season, that's what we're doing. We're preparing for the next season. We're researching about what are going to be the next places that are opening up that are worth checking out. And I already have a couple of them on my list that I want to be pushing for next year, which I think are going to be really, really interesting in the very near future. So yeah, these are just my 2 cents, and for the first time, I feel like I hogged the microphone for
But
the entire half hour.
but you did a
I don't know if
great job. You did a
I don't
great
know if you
Bye bye.
guys want to
job.
add something.
See you next week.
Not so easy, Gabriel. Not so easy.
Yeah.
Well, I'm picking up on your comments, Sergio. I think you're pretty much finished with it, right?
Yeah,
Okay. So I'm picking up on your comments, and well, I've been one of the voices that has been speaking a lot and posting a lot on some travel groups about a few things. So my recent post on Travel Portugal triggered a few responses, or even a few, I would say, well, counter posts here and there. Not everybody agrees with me, but well, I love yellow, and I drive an orange vehicle, and well, I'm the kind of person that stands for different opinions. Okay, but in fact, the curious thing is, I'm getting more and more people asking me, "Oh, I know that you don't go to the crowded places. I know that you have a unique approach, that you have a different approach, a distinct approach." And of course, there will be people following this. I had one of my tours copied at a lower price a year ago, but I'm perfectly fine with that. And I think I'm not the only one here that had tours copied at lower prices as well, but that's another story. But in fact, the month of May, that is the peak season month, I hosted 12 tours of Sintra, and I didn't set foot at Quinta da Regaleira or Pena Palace, okay? A few people ask me, can we see Pena Palace from the distance? Sure, there's one or another place that we can see it from the distance. And today with a good camera, you can get a good picture. But in general, when people were finally understanding what I wanted to show them, they were very, very happy with that. And they really thanked me for providing that. And they said, but how come that people don't see this? Well, because people just follow trends, follow hypes. And we've been discussing this very often. But then we have a few other things. And a part of that approach and a part of driving EVs, there's a lot of things going on, and the keyword for the next few years that people are going to hear more and more and more, it's really called sustainability.
Yeah.
And that is the key point because you, Sergio, you exampled that very well. When the place stops being able to offer the experience that made it special, it will be kind of self-implode, okay? And in a few years, what was popular won't be popular anymore. And in fact, then everybody will suffer. But there's a lot of short-sighted or short-minded people that believe that until that happens, we're going to make loads of money. And I've heard that from some people in the business. But I thinking long term, I still want to be touring people for many, many years and doing different things. But then we have really the approach of about giving back to the community and helping the community. One of the wineries that I go, 40 minutes north of where I live, so a lot of people don't know, but Portugal has great wines from north to south. In fact, we are one of the few countries that has wineries from north to south, or wine regions from north to south. And in fact, that winery, and I don't know if I already told this or not over here, but I can share that live. The little winery, small producer, local producer, the old gentleman that, started making wines and sells some great stuff. Once I was in a platform on Facebook that has a platform for like local artisans and, small businesses. And I posted there, I'm sorry, I'm not an artisan, but I'm a tour operator. And I'm looking for this kind of experiences. So artisans that do traditional things. So I have the potter, I have the basket maker, but I'm always on the search of a few traditional arts, okay, like the embroidery, the linens, all those kind of things that are part of our history. And I'm also in the search of gastronomic experiences. And a few minutes after, I get a message on Messenger by someone saying, "Oh, we are a small winery. We would love to host some wine experiences, but we don't know where to start from." Okay, and I just ask, "Okay, where are you based?" And we are based over here. Oh, that's perfect. That's right on my operational range because I'm pretty close to you. So I'm like half an hour, 40 minutes from you. So when can we talk? And I went there. They were already starting to do some social media stuff. They had created their brand. They have created some quite unique wines as well. And they were kind of giving the first step. So I ended up being a little bit their consultant, saying, "Okay, well, you can do it this way or that way. I would love to bring people in here to have this kind of experience." I grew up in the countryside in a small farm, so big part of this process, it's very familiar to me. And this is the kind of thing I like to show. So I ended up being kind of the small consultant for them, and even to tell them, okay, you can get this kind of card payment system. You can advertise your things more or less this or that way, and things are moving. So I brought a few guests there already, a few groups, different time, and I'm promoting that a little bit more and more, and that's what I like to do. So when people approach you asking for advice, you need to think on what positivity or what value you can add for those people because they are trusting you, even not knowing you from anywhere. Okay, and this is like when you feel that you're doing something right, when that you are showing well, that your business has some good feeling, and that has some good structure, and people look at you and they feel, okay, I like to partner, I want to partner with this person, or at least I want to hear what this person has to say. Okay, so this is really something that makes me very happy on helping these businesses, and I've been doing that a little bit here and there. I'm trying to find more stuff around here. Unfortunately, around Lisbon, it seems like there has been a lot of people approaching businesses the wrong way. Okay, because the only thing they want there to go there, it's in fact a partner for profit or partner for for benefits. But that's not my kind of thing, and I say this publicly without any issue. I support the artisans that I visit. Okay, I don't need people to buy some ceramics, or to go to the basket maker and buy any kind of baskets, whatever. I support them because it's their time. They are opening their door to me. Okay. Most people do the exact opposite. They go to some little artisan, and the only question they make is, if I bring people here, how much money do you give me?
Exactly.
Okay? That is wrong. So in my opinion, in my perspective, that is totally wrong. So we need to give to these people. Otherwise, they'll keep their business, because their business probably existed way before our tour company, and they've been doing some stuff. Okay, so they are opening their doors. So it's like, if you open the door of your house to welcome someone, okay, you want that person to bring something positive to you, not to just taking stuff out of you. So this is how it should work, and this is what I've been doing. This is what I try to promote. But unfortunately, okay, this is a mindset that very few people have. We are lucky to have here on the group several people on the same page, okay, on the same mindset. But this is really what I advocate, what I want to really to transmit. And it's all about sustainability. It's all about preservation tourism. This is another word that it's going to be more and more popular. We need to preserve the places, the business, the locals, the authenticity, and then things will happen. It's a long way, and it's probably a slow, curvy road. But I'm not the kind of driver that likes to go flat out on the highway, so I prefer the slow, curvy roads. That's what I
I'm not
find
so
very fun.
sure, Lionel. I'm not so sure. I think that tsunami is coming.
Okay.
I'm gonna explain why. We
Yeah,
think
please.
we think these matters, they're gonna take time to become more visible, popular. Well, almost every day I listen people talking about these issues in other countries. Even today, and sorry to interrupt you.
No, please go ahead.
Okay. Even today I was guiding this mother and daughter from Long Island, the Uptons, Long Island. And they've been in Europe 3 times in just 1 year, so they travel a lot. And last year they went to Greece, and they felt this, people, they are no longer happy because they saw so many people, cruises, and sunset in Santorini. It was nothing like they thought about it, and they hear locals complaining. I mean, not complaining, because even today, I can't stop myself, and I always say this, I'm a tour guide, and sometimes I ask people, do you allow me to speak as a local now, not as a guide? Because obviously I like tourists, right? Otherwise I wouldn't work with you, right? And I love to help you, and I love to provide you the best experiences. But as a local, I can't stop seeing what is happening also here in the Algarve in certain places, because the hype is so big in some places that I see the differences coming very fast. And the best 2 examples, I always have to talk about Rick Steves and other influencers, is Tavira and Lagos. They are the 2 places where I see more cranes. And when we see a place full of cranes, we know in 2-3 years, we're going to have a problem, because we're going to have way more people staying and visiting these spots. I mean, of course, the places, they still have room to grow, but then think, the old towns, they're going to be the same size. And this is going to bring way more souvenir shops, more, I don't know, coffee to go culture that has nothing to do with Portugal. So it's going to shape these two towns too. And then these two towns, they will become, well, just like people, they like to trash Albufeira so much because it's no longer authentic. And yeah, in certain measure, it is true, but it's going to happen in many places. So I think, Lionel, that many people, they are already aware because they don't visit Portugal only. They go to Canary Island. These two ladies now, they go to Seville, and then they go to Mallorca, and then they go to Sicily. And they asked me about Mallorca. And then I said, well, there are some rising protests there because people, they are done. And it's funny because in Mallorca, we have so many Germans too, but people, they are done because they can't afford to buy a house. They are losing their small businesses because the big sharks, they are taking over, even the big supermarkets. I know Aldi is very popular in the West too. I mean, nothing against Aldi, but all these big sharks, they're taking over the small places. And the people who live in these small places, they're still feeling, okay, so what is wrong here? So at some point, they think, well, maybe we are struggling here because we have too many tourists. And not everyone rely on tourists. Not everyone fancy tourism. So the more tourists we have in small spots, the more these people, they're going to start struggling. So I'm pretty sure the protests in Sintra and other spots, they're going to rise. So this, and many other tour guides, influencers at some point, because even influencers, not everyone is just after the profit or creating hacks. No, some, they are also consciousness about this. And they're going to start talking about this. I think, let's see, mark my words. I think maybe we are the first ones around here talking about this, but it's going to become a more popular topic because many people, they are seeing the same we are seeing. And I'm talking about tourists seeing this. Okay, so this is, well, this is not so great. So, and I think we all, first step, we need to be brave, and we need to talk about this, okay? So we are not saying something wrong. We are just bringing the topic or the issue so we can debate about it. Because if we don't talk about things, we can change these things. And like you said, Sergio and Lionel, we are locals. I'm from the Algarve. I don't want to see the Algarve turn into a, I don't know, I don't like comparisons, but like a, I don't know, like Benidorm or something. I mean, like a big resort with big, I don't want to see this. I know we have already this stuff here, but we still have lots of beautiful protected areas like Salgados, where you've been, Sergio. So, and I want to try to preserve as much as I can some spots. So what I do, I try to provide people with options. Sometimes people, they ask me, Gabriel, we're gonna spend 3-4 days in the Algarve. What do you think? We wanna hire you for 1 day. We can afford you to hire you for 3 days. What do you think? Gabriel, we wanna visit Lagos. We wanna visit the Eastern too, because we've been hearing that it's very nice, very authentic. So what do you think? Then I always tell people, you know, it's very easy for you to take a Uber from Albufeira or from Porches or from Carvoeiro to Lagos. You can visit Lagos on your own. It's small, it's very quaint, very beautiful. You can visit the boardwalks. Let me guide you to the other spots like Faro, Hortavira, Horolhão, because these spots, they are not so popular. There's lots of hidden gems, and without a guide, you can't find this. So when they go with me, voila. Why this is not so popular? Well, because people, they don't know about it. So this is also our job and our responsibility. I think if everyone who is coming to the Algarve, instead of staying all in the same spot, if they can spread all over the place, we're gonna benefit everyone, and we are not gonna pressure too much just 1, 2, or 3 spots. At least this is the way I see this, and I try to help my guests as much as I can, and also as influencers, because I mean, we are also influencers, so people, they listen us. So maybe what we say, it's not as popular as other guys they say, but we have a niche, and this is the niche we need here, right? People who really care also about the locals, people who show empathy, people who like to help local businesses too. And well, funny, because Lionel, you said something and I do the same. When I go to Silva's Market or Olhão or Faro Market, Lolé Market, almost everyone there already know me. And sometimes I bring my 2, 3, 4 up to 8 gas, and then I show a few stuff. If for some reason they don't buy something, I buy something. That's for sure. I'm gonna buy something, cattle powder, some figs or whatever. I'm gonna buy some, and sometimes I buy something and then I offer to my guests too, because they need help. Sometimes they tell me, Gabriel, not every guide is like you. Sometimes we have here like 40, 50 people. The guy talks, they go and they don't even buy one fig. So I like to buy because I know they need our help. So quantity is not quality, not at all. So I think we all should be aware. We guides, we should try to help our local community, not just our own belly. Because in the long term, like you said, if we don't do this, if we don't try to help our local economy and our local more authentic vibe, we're gonna spoil this. We're gonna be part of the problem. Well, I just like to try to do the best I can to at least to provide people with benefits, not just taking from them. Okay. Yeah. I don't know if I think this makes sense, because if we don't try to help other people, like, okay, I come here and that's all. My presence is enough. It's not enough. We need to help locals, because otherwise, in 10 years, there will be no Portugal welcoming and warm people. I'm telling you. Okay, and so let's all try to do our best to help everyone.
And now just to finish, and well, this has been a very interesting.
Jesus Christ!
Chat.
Yeah.
Well,
the my fault. Sorry.
The three of us together debating these ideas. We could stay here for hours.
Hours.
I'm just gonna drop a little bomb over here. And of course, I'm working a lot and I'm doing a lot of things. And there's a very specific place that I would love to integrate on my tours. And there's someone watching that knows the place, used to play there when he was young, not disclosing the name. It's pretty close to Lisbon. But a lot of people want to visit palaces, and a lot of people think they know all the palaces around, but there is a secret palace that I'm working to put on my tours, and it's a very, very unique place, just a few minutes away from the city of Lisbon, that I would really want to bring people over there. I'm working on that. But yes, when I see that people, when I see people thinking that Sintra, it's the yellow and red building, they even don't know how is it called, because they ask for the red and yellow building, and they think Sintra is that. They don't know what Sintra is all about. A historical town, and all the surroundings and the protected landscape, the UNESCO landscape around there. Yes, I know that you know that one, Vitor. That's why I mentioned that. And about palaces, there are plenty to visit, okay? And just disclosing here one that most people end up missing. In Lisbon, it's possible to visit the Royal Palace. More than one, but one that is stunning, it's amazing, and no one goes there. So when people think that you need to go to Sintra to visit the Royal Palace, I'm just gonna drop this one, and this one I can disclose. Ajuda National Palace. 5 minutes drive from the famous Pastéis de Belém bakery. Even Uber drivers don't know what it is. Okay, and I had reports of people hiring an Uber to take them there, and the Uber driver was kind of looking at the building, but what the heck is this? So the fact is, people just follow hypes, follow the trends, and they really don't know what they're missing. So in Lisbon, Ajuda National Palace, it's a must go. But the other one, I hope that in a few months things will be sorted out to make some very exclusive experiences over there, and exclusivity, it's also something that of course takes time to work on, but there's a lot of stuff going on, so stay tuned. I'm gonna pretty much close it here from my side. This was an amazing chat, guys. I really missed I really was missing these very productive and immersive chats with the three of us. Thank you everybody that posted some comments. You are more than welcome to ask your questions, and it's great to see that a lot of people week after week support us over here. But the best thing is, in one of the comments to one of the articles that I wrote recently, to have someone mentioning, after I saw you and Gabriel live a few days ago, this is my opinion about this and this and this subject. So it means that our message is going through slowly, but
Oh
our
yeah.
message is going through. So we are more than happy and I'm very pleased with that. So from my side, I just want to thank you guys and thank you everybody who has been watching. Okay,
Yeah.
Gabriel, go on.
I'm gonna finish too, but this is like many other things that happens. At the beginning, it's weird. People they don't understand. But there's every set trender, set trender, all trailblazers, all pioneers, they are
Mm-hmm.
not understand. People they don't understand what the hell they are talking about.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna see people, even those other guys, because I understand they are in a comfort zone. They are doing their own tours always. One day they're gonna do the tours you are now launching. Trust me, because you are setting trends. So actually, we are trying to set some trends, and this is a trend that is growing
Mm-hmm.
worldwide. People
Mm-hmm.
at some point they're gonna stop visiting Eiffel Tower. They want to go somewhere else, and I'm pretty
Oh
sure
yeah.
in Paris, in France, you can find many other stuff that is as beautiful as Eiffel Tower, right? Okay, guys, from my hand,
Thank
I
you
just want
very
to
much,
wish you a
guys.
great week ahead too.
Yeah, so
Thank you.
final thoughts over here. You've been talking about the things that no one talks about, and just last week, just before going on holidays, I actually did a 2-day tour, and this again corroborated what some previous
Trendsetters.
customers have told me. It was with two sisters. They also watched us over here occasionally on Unplugged. And they do agree that the down is also very beautiful. We did the Douro Valley and the down back to back on the way down to Lisbon. They decided to take things a little bit more calmly, and instead of rushing through a day, they decided to do an overnight. And they absolutely loved the experiences. I mean, all the meals that this is based on their feedback. The meals provided were top notch. The locations had stunning views. They were very fond of the different vibes of the two wine regions. And I've been telling this, I've been teasing this since the beginning of the year over here. And this is coming again, like I said in the beginning of the year, coming from a guy that is from the Douro Valley. And I've been telling this all along, do not neglect the down wine region in terms of wine regions. I think it's going to be an amazing wine region in the very near future. The down for people who are heading south, for people who are heading north, don't neglect also the Vinho Verde wine region.
Mhm.
Both of them stunning, completely different, completely opposite. If you're coming during the summer, I would say go to the Vinho Verde wine region. Very beautiful on your way to the Gerês, to the Peneda Gerês National Park. If you're backtracking your steps and you're going down back to Lisbon, take an extra day. Take a day out of going back to Porto, for example. Or even from Lisbon. I'm a guy from the north, so I have to say, skip a day in Lisbon, you won't miss it. So, but this is true. I mean, Lisbon. A lot of people say that that Lisbon is feels like a very big
Yeah.
cosmopolitan
Yeah, but
city.
let
And so
them
take it.
let me bring them to Lisbon wines region, then their
True,
Okay.
opinions will change. Okay,
true. But
I
let's
have
take,
I have some good stuff on the sleeve.
of course. But take the detour between Porto and Lisbon and spend an extra day, an extra night, even in the countryside, and you'll feel like the experience is going to be
Oh
completely
yeah.
transformative, completely different. Because the coastal area is one thing, the inland area is another completely
Hmm.
different one. And there's quite a bit more to Portugal to explore. And if we play our cards right, I feel like Portugal has a lot of touristic potential for decades to come.
Oh yeah.
We just need people to, as you said, Gabriel, to spread out a little bit more.
Mhm.
It's not just in the Algarve. We need to do this throughout the entire country. Obviously, it's easier for people to stay in Porto and Lisbon because of the amenities, because of the proximity to the airport, because that's where the majority of the popular attractions are located. But to give you some examples of attractions that are located inland, a lot of people talk about the coastal area of Portugal. Go to Alentejo, you have the Alqueva Lake, which has an even larger coastal area than mainland Portugal has with the Atlantic. A lot of people talk about Óbidos. Go to Monsaraz, go to
Hmm.
Monsanto. It's inland. It's far
Go
more
to
beautiful in my.
Marval.
Go to Marvão even. Uh, and a lot of people go to the Douro Valley. Well, in terms of wine regions, I would say go to Vinho Verde or go to go to the down area. It's very beautiful. Even Lisboa, Setúbal, there's plenty of wine regions around.
Oh
Well,
yeah,
anywhere you go in the country, it's a wine region. So who are we kidding
yeah,
over here?
true,
But
true.
yeah, you just need to know where to go, where to focus, and the bottom line is trends are good to follow, even if it is just as a baseline for what you want to do. But for the rest, think about yourself, think about the regions, think about the places that you want to see. And I've been telling this for many months, I would even say some years now. Traveling is a very personal experience. What do you want to see? What makes you happy? Are you happy with following a set itinerary, or do you want to have a serious conversation with a tour guide, tour operator, etc., and try to create something
Yeah.
unique that is tailored to your preferences,
Hmm.
not embarking
Hmm.
on the trends, because sometimes,
Exactly.
well, I'm sorry to say, for some people, trends can be a little bit disappointing, and
Oh
that
yeah.
is the reality of it.
Mhm.
So, and we are just a trio. There's plenty more in over here in our group, and we also have contacts with like-minded people in our own areas who are very keen on offering very similar experiences. If you
Mhm.
go to a place like, for example, one of those online platforms like Get Your Guide, and you see the same company offering the same tour with just slight variations, chances are that you'll be doing as you called it, Gabriel, a couple of days ago in one of your posts, a cookie cutter experience. And
Hmm.
the cookie
Mhm.
cutter tour doesn't cut it for everyone.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
guys, 30 minutes of Unplugged. We're now getting to 1 hour. I think it's time to say goodbye.
Oh, no
Well,
problem.
we are almost at 1 hour. Okay,
Yeah,
but well, it's been great,
yeah,
guys. It's been
Yeah.
amazing to be back
Agree.
here
Yeah.
with this very productive chat. Okay, so I want to thank you again. And well, I think we are good for today. Tomorrow,
Yeah.
guess what? I'll be in Sintra again. So if by any chance anyone who's watching, well, sees the orange van around, so you know I'm around.
Yeah.
And well, we'll be back
yeah.
next week with more
And I'll be at
stuff.
Odoro
Exactly.
Valley tomorrow, so if you see the blue Tesla Model X, you already know who that is.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
I'm gonna
well,
say what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take a day off.
okay. Well, yes, the party guy.
Yeah.
So,
Okay,
thank you very much.
guys,
Bye bye,
thank
And
you.
guys.
well,
Have
we'll
a
be
great
back
week.
next week. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye bye.